Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. Small spoiler alert that this video will deal with some results that have happened in the Australian Open semifinals. If you're waiting to kind of rewind and watch them later, this will talk about the results, so then you should stop watching. We'll also look ahead at the two finals, women's side and men's side, my predictions and thoughts around those. Keen to hear yours in the comments below. If you want to support the work I do, check me out on patreon.com/tennisnerd or by buying something through my affiliates. The links are in the description below. Top court, good coaching from the pros like Kyrgios, Swiatek and so on. And Swing Vision, great tool for recording yourself, which I really recommend. Racket, strings, shoes at Tennis Warehouse Europe and Tennis Only. That's about it, but let's first start with the women. They played yesterday. I'm talking to you on a Friday afternoon here in Malta, Europe. So Ash Barty, what a player. She is the most versatile player arguably on the women's tour, I think. Especially the slice seems to be what troubles players the most, and it is what troubled Madison Keys quite a lot. She even said so in her post-match interview that this was a big issue and something she struggled to deal with. And when asked, Barty's coach actually replied that you can't just focus on preparing for the match, being the first time you really encounter the slice. You know, you need to actually play against slice and know what to do against these players who employ slice. But there are not that many on the women's side or not even on the men's side that use the slice so effectively as Barty does. And it seems to really create confusion for her opponents, and Keys couldn't really deal with it. She had a hard time getting control and finding the range of her shots. There was a lot of variance from Barty's spins, velocity placement. She's so good at varying the pace and the ball that the opponent gets, and then adding that to her excellent serve, which is perhaps the best in the women's game as well. So she has been the clear favorite for me to the title since before the tournament started, but now it's even more clear. But she will have a feisty opponent in Danielle Collins, who really wears down her opponents in a different way. She throws everything she has at them. Lots of energy, lots of power, lots of aggression, and Swiatek couldn't really deal with it. It was an easier match than I thought it would be. I thought Collins had a chance, although I predicted Swiatek, to be honest, but her second serve, Swiatek, is not that great. So this was what Collins attacked over and over again, hitting clean winners of the second serve, and that's really what decided the match. Her aggression, really going for her shots, and her confidence is sky high. So she's not missing. She just keeps on coming at you, and I think Swiatek couldn't really deal with it. Her confidence was not top notch. You could see that in the match before in the quarterfinals. She didn't seem quite herself or her best self. And Collins really used that to her advantage, and deservedly in the final after playing amazing tennis for 2 weeks. So now we have a Barty-Collins final. Their head-to-head is a 3-1 to Barty. Odds are in Barty's favor, almost 5 times your money if Collins wins, and you don't get much if Barty wins. And I think it's going to be tougher than that. It's going to be a more even match. Collins is going to throw everything and the kitchen sink at Barty. Question is, how will she be able to handle it? And my prediction is that she will handle it well, but it might take 3 sets. She will win the title, and she will have the toughest match in Collins, and it might be a really interesting 3-setter. Definitely something to look forward to happening tomorrow in Europe, and I'm keenly going to watch that one, Barty-Collins. So Barty wins the Australian Open. It's my prediction. Has been all along. She has been spectacular. But if someone can stop her, it's going to be Danielle Collins, who's playing maybe her best tennis at the moment. So interesting match. Really looking forward to it. Men's then. We had today 2 semifinals starting early morning here in Europe. Rafa Nadal, he looked his old self from the best days when he just pummeled Berrettini with really heavy topspin ground strokes. Didn't miss anything. Just super efficient, smart with the ball placement, aggressive, lots of energy. So 2 sets in a row for Rafa. Then, there's always a dip in these 5-set matches, or usually, especially between 2 strong players. And Rafa had a little bit of a dip, and Berrettini had a moment of brilliance where he started going more for his shots, and they landed in. And I was not surprised to see him take the 3rd set. The question is, how do you respond in the 4th set? And Rafa, he's so good, and I think sometimes people underestimate how good he is tactically at adjusting his game plan, because the spin might look the same, but the way he places the ball and the way he kind of attacked Berrettini's backhand in the fourth set was very impressive. He just made it awkward for Berrettini to move and really, moved him left, right, and had a good pattern, changed his service position, his service return position, I should say, and just had a great match and finished the match in 4 sets. Berrettini obviously disappointed, but Rafa was very good, and I think we will see more of Berrettini anyway. So well done to Rafa. He couldn't believe it himself. He said in the post-match interview that he didn't even think he would play this event. The foot injury he struggled with for months, the COVID infection he had a few weeks before the tournament. But Rafa, he's a fighter. He comes back, he's gonna get ready, and he seems super happy and excited to be in the Australian Open final one more time. He's only won it once. Can this be the second time, or will Daniil Medvedev stop him? Because Daniil Medvedev won the so-called hate match between Tsitsipas and Medvedev, and this match did not disappoint. Started really, well. Both players playing really strong tennis, excellent from the back of the court. Both players. Medvedev a little bit more secure, but Tsitsipas venturing more often to the net and playing more aggressively as he should. Tsitsipas still lost the first set despite playing well, and this is what Medvedev does. He snatches sets from you. But in the second set, Tsitsipas came back, early break, but got broken back. But then again, he was a bit sharper in the deciding moments, and Medvedev lost it. He completely lost it. Started shouting at the umpire that Apostolos Tsitsipas, which is Tsitsipas' father and coach, was coaching him from the stands. And he called the umpire. He was shocked that the umpire, could be refereeing a semi-final Grand Slam match. And he was, frankly quite rude and frustrated and seemed very angry. He was not showing his best side. He knows about this himself, and he did apologize afterwards, and he sometimes has these outbursts. He is a high-tempered guy, and he really went after it. And to be fair, actually, I think he has a point to the accusations, although he didn't, voice them in a good way. There is a lot of coaching going on usually from Tsitsipas' father. I can't say 100% it's all coaching, but he does talk a lot during the match and talk towards his son. So that's pretty evident. A lot of other players have talked about that before. People who have sat next to Apostolos in the stands have also heard this. It's quite clear that he's talking all the time, and it's something they need to adjust. And maybe it's not Stefanos' fault. Maybe he doesn't even want his father to talk so much, but yeah, he can't help himself. And in this case, actually, he got a warning in the fourth set. But the third set was where the key to the match happened. We had 4-all, could go either way. Medvedev looked like he was improving a bit his game. Tsitsipas played a few really sloppy points, a little bit too much aggression too early, and no patience in the rallies at 4-4, and got broken, and pretty badly as well. And then Medvedev didn't look back. He was just spectacular in the remainder of the match. Served that set out. The fourth set, he didn't miss a shot, it looked like. He was so good, passing shots, attacking attempts, whatever, he made it. And he won that set 6-1. So very impressive tennis at the end there for Medvedev. He looked a bit nervous at times earlier in the match, missed his backhand a bit more than usual. That's what he said himself as well in the press conference. But overall, his performance was very impressive. Tsitsipas played well, but he really let himself down at key moments, and that's something he needs to work on if he's going to win Grand Slams in the future. He has the potential, that's obvious, but the mental part of the game is so important, as we saw with Auger-Aliassime, for example, in the quarterfinals. So Medvedev-Nadal, it's a reprise of the US Open 2019 final before this COVID madness started. And Rafa won that match in 5 sets. Started 2-0. Medvedev came roaring back from nowhere and made it a 5-setter, but then Rafa was too strong in the end for Medvedev. Medvedev is stronger now, he's a better player, but Rafa is obviously super happy to be in a final again, in a Grand Slam. He didn't expect it maybe, and he is relatively fresh, I would assume, because he hasn't played that much tennis. Medvedev has played tougher tennis and more tennis than Rafa. Will it matter? I don't know. The bookies hold Medvedev as a favorite not as clear as Barty in the women's match, but still a pretty clear favorite. So I don't know what to believe. I will predict Rafa. I think it's time for Grand Slam 21 for him. I wouldn't be shocked if Medvedev wins either. I think it's a very difficult match to predict, but I'm going to go with Rafa in 4 sets. And really looking forward to that on Sunday morning European time. So that will be great. It will be an exciting final, the final that several predicted, I think, a while back, and it will be fun to see them duke it out again on the biggest stage in tennis. All right, that's about that I was gonna say, but I also wanted to mention doubles. Did you see the doubles craziness that Kyrgios and Kokkinakis stirred up in their, I think, quarterfinal match? Michael Venus and Tim Putz, I think his name is, they were, the audience was worse than any kind of Premier League football match. It's just nuts, audience going wild, sui and everything, you know. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, it's good for tennis that you get that attention, but for the tennis players it must be quite a disturbance. And Kyrgios just stirs up the crowd. He makes them go ballistic. He uses the crowd energy, kind of surfs on it. Doesn't always behave as the best guy ever, but you can't argue the entertainment value that this has. Michael Venus called him an absolute knob in the interview afterwards, meaning he's a dick, you know, and he obviously doesn't like Kyrgios. Yeah, you know, that's what happens. I think Kyrgios, he stirs up a lot of stuff, but he seems to sell tickets, so that's a good thing for tennis. The question is, and I don't know where you stand here, is it good that we have a bit more polarization, a little bit more drama, a little bit more energy, also in doubles matches, which is what Kyrgios and Kokkinakis has stirred up? Or should tennis be more of a gentlemanly sport, and you shouldn't be able to use the audience this way that Kyrgios has, and should the audience behave better and so on? Keen to hear what you think in the comments below, but it was fun to watch. It was a true spectacle. Kyrgios and Kokkinakis in the final now against Matthew Ebden, Max Purcell. They're 2 Aussies as well, so it's going to be an interesting audience situation. Who are they going to cheer for? Kyrgios has a strong following at the Aussie Open, but you know, playing against compatriots, maybe it will be a bit more mellow. We will see, and I hope it's going to be a crazy match with some good audience interaction. That also happens on Saturday. So tomorrow, women's final, Barty Collins, then the doubles final. Some great tennis to be had. We're also looking forward, obviously, to the Medvedev-Rafa final on Sunday morning European time. Thanks for watching all this and for staying with me throughout the video. I've really enjoyed doing these recaps and predictions, and if you like them, please click like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know that you want more of these in future tournaments. Maybe it's once weekly on the 2 tours, just to summarize. And for the Grand Slams, I'm going to try to do it round by round. Am I missing some important content that you would like to see on the channel? Let me know. I really try to do my best in helping the sport grow, in really trying to inspire people to play more tennis, to learn more about the sport, to enjoy it more, to grow the channel and make it a better resource for tennis nerds and fans worldwide. Well, that's it. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.